Hi guys. So this is an impromptu live. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of time to join. Not sure if you will. Hopefully, with more people at home, you'll be able to. Last night, I've been sort of on a hiatus, a little bit of a hiatus. I needed a little break from the media. I think because I didn't want to let it program my mind right now. So I took a little hiatus, and I get it. However, last night I was called to service, and I realized in that moment, I said to John, I feel better when I'm helping people, and he said, "Baby, I know." And so here I am. Last night I had a really great conversation with someone, and it feels very appropriate to share right now with you all. And that is, the truth is right now, the manifestations that are going on in our world is a call to heal. Many of us are being forced into this, this solitude, into this moment of quietness, and we're going to heal things. That's what we're being asked to do. And we're being given a lot of time to do it. So to me, this is somewhat of a blessing in disguise. But because of this and this moment, I thought that this would be appropriate to share. So, question last night was asked of me, and it was a very good question. It was, how do I let go of the anger I feel towards the people that have caused me pain in my life? How do I let that go? I'm so mad. I'm so angry at them. I really want to beat them up. Like, I don't want to love them right now. That was the question. And it's a perfect question because many of us are here, and many of us have been in a situation where we have been placed in situations that you would consider not healthy, right? We were born in darkness, many of us, not all, but a good majority of us were kind of born in chaos and in darkness, and with parents that weren't the greatest. And if that wasn't you, then consider yourself lucky. But the majority of us, this is what formed our character, right? And so with that, the problem with that is that a lot of our ideas of love, a lot of our wounds, a lot of those things were formed in those core years. Those core years, that was formed. So then what occurs, right, is that we're going to draw to ourselves people that are going to show us those wounds as we grow up. Now, we don't know that is occurring. Okay? So the original question was, how do we forgive those people that did us so much harm? How do we release the anger? And the answer is, you take the God perspective and you understand that everyone is innocent. They are merely playing the role that you needed in order to see what was occurring inside of you. The people that caused us the greatest pain are typically the ones that show us our greatest wounds. And at the moment, it does not feel like a favor. I get it, no matter how bad it is. For example, many of us who do not have love for ourselves because we felt unworthy as children are going to attract narcissistic partners. And they get increasingly worse. And we get in this repetitive cycle. And many of us ask ourselves, how do we get out of this cycle? I don't understand. Well, if you were to look back, you would see the same thing playing over and over and over again. That is for your benefit. Now, we can do two things. We can be fooled by the illusion. We can look at it from an outside perspective, and we can allow these people to harm us, right? We can resent them. We can get angry about it. Or we can take the God perspective and understand that these people are merely playing the role that we needed in order to see ourselves, in order to see what needed healing. In order for you to discover how to heal, you discover how to forgive, and you understand where these messengers are coming from. So that's really what's important here, is how are you going to let it go? You're going to let it go by taking on a godly perspective. We are told to seek the kingdom of God first. The reason for that is so that we can let go of our resentment, so we can see everyone as innocent, so we can return to that call to love. Because what is happening is the obstacles that we have towards love are being mirrored to us. And some of them are very painful, and many of us avoid them. We don't want to see them. We don't want to look at them. They're painful. I get it. However, if you understand the messenger, then the people that caused you the greatest pain are the ones you owe the biggest thanks to. You really, truly do. Because those are the ones that are being asked, that are asking you to see your wound that you were avoiding. And if you keep avoiding it, what's going to happen? What you resist persists. And so you're going to keep attracting the same type of person over and over again, progressively getting worse and worse until you break. You decide what that breaking point is. Do you continue to look outside, or do you flip that view inward? That's the secret here. When you flip the view inward and you understand that you are in the middle of your entire consciousness and you decided to descend into a very specific point in time in order to see the things that needed healing. You purposely chose these things. So it's very easy to get caught up in the drama and say all those people out there are whack, instead of saying, okay, they're showing me what's going on inside of me. And this is what I need to fix. And you take responsibility and ownership for it. Or you can fall into victim mode, which is what 98% of the people do. That's not what we're supposed to do. And that's kind of what we're being asked to do right now. We're being asked to heal our perspective. So I want to remind you guys of the design. It says, we are made in the image of God. Okay? God is everything. There's nothing else. That means that we are this God in this moment. And we have to choose whether we're going to be fooled by the illusion of separation, or we're going to recognize that our thoughts are mirrored outwardly, disguised as people, places, and things. And that everything that we're doing is a journey into ourselves to discover who we are, and in order to experience ourselves as separate, because there's no way to separate ourselves except in our imagination. That's what the 3D world is. And when you understand that, then there's no harm that's coming to you. Nothing can hurt you. And even the worst experiences, you have to appreciate them, because if you didn't, how much worse would it get? A lot of people learn the hard way, so they go through the same cycle 6, 7, 8 times, and they start to lose faith in humanity rather than understanding what it was for. And that is a call for you to heal what's going on from within, because whatever you see externally is going to be mirrored out as yourself. I recently had a moment in which the president's son-in-law, I saw how he made his fortune. And it disgusted me. And I didn't want to claim that part of myself as myself. And that's why it was shown to me externally. And it was a call to love. And to be honest, I saw a snake and I wanted to call a snake a snake. But that was not behaving like God does. It wasn't. And so I had to take a step back and forgive this man, even though I was disgusted of how he was taking advantage of the poor, And so in these moments, it is these moments that we have to choose how to see. It is these moments where we have to choose to see their innocence. It is these moments, especially when they've caused us harm, that we have to choose to heal ourselves before we deal with another human being. These experiences are information gathering experiences. I recently had a friend ask me that, I feel guilty over something I've done. Why? It's made in your imagination. You're gathering information. And if you learn from something from it, then why feel bad? Are you not gaining anything? If we're here just to experience life, then how are we going to appreciate the life that is coming to us? So I think today what I really wanted to talk to you guys is about this cycle. Because a lot of us are being faced with this now. A lot of us are being asked to look at these things. And so we can point fingers. We can, consider ourselves victims, or we can understand that we are the source of our reality and appreciate the messengers for who they are, and then flip that perspective. The beauty of everything that is happening is that we are one with creation at all times. Whether we know it or not, We always are. That's number one. Second, shit happens. It happens, okay? But it's a neutral occurrence that is going on. It's just occurring, and we are watching these things. Now, the beauty of our experience is we get to define that. So how are we going to define it? Are we going to join in on our erroneous perceptions and judge these things accordingly? Or are we going to define them differently? So for example, for me, this virus right now, I'm very grateful for the time that I have with my family. I'm very grateful for the chaos that's occurring. I'm grateful for the things that are breaking down because they didn't work in the first place. I'm grateful for the time that people are truly connecting. And if all of this needed to occur in order for us to experience that, then so be it. You know, a lot of times people who participate in imaginary death, like, you know, cancer or any of these other illnesses, it is when they're faced with their mortality that they finally appreciate their life. Isn't that funny how that works? It's not how they're seeing it, but it's truly how it works. I met a survivor of leukemia, and he told me his story. But when he described his story, he was like, don't feel bad for me right now. He said, just don't. He's like, I'm so grateful for life right now. I'm so grateful to be alive. And it was, you could feel the excitement. But had he not gone through a scare, he could not appreciate what he had. And he was vibing on a whole nother level of existence. One that even made me feel like I needed to be more appreciative. Like he leveled me up. And so these are these times when we're being asked to choose to define these things. I don't participate in these theories. I don't participate. There's a million theories that are going on out there. I'm not going to drop down to this level and participate in this chaos. What I'm going to do is appreciate these moments, allow them to serve me, and then work on my own healing. Because that's what we're really being asked to do. So again, as I wanted to remind you guys, when she asked me this question, how do you let go of the people that have harmed you? How do you let go of that desire to beat their asses? You let it go because you realize that these are the people that showed you what was going on. This is the moment when you're using your conscious mirrors to see. It is not the time to get mad at our other body, because that's really what it is. The design is simple. We ask God, how do we experience ourselves when we are everything? Like, I don't understand how to experience ourselves. And so God came up with this genius idea. He said, I'm going to give you the whole world. And what you're going to do is you're just going to pretend not to be everything. And then I'm going to sit you in the middle of your consciousness, and you're going to get to be able to see yourself from every angle. So every body appearing not to be you is just going to be the thoughts you're not thinking in the moment. And when you allow yourself to see yourself that way, everyone is innocent, aren't they? They are. If you think about it that way, they are, because they're serving you. They're showing you the aspects of yourself that help you define yourself. They're showing you the aspects of yourself that maybe have been wounded. And so if that is what you're holding on to, this is the time to forgive those things. This is the time to be introspective. This is the time to flip that view, because it is so easy to do what 98% of the population does, and that is look at things backwards. You look outside, you allow that to affect you inside, then that feeling stays, and suddenly you are trapped in a 3D box in which you feel as if you are stuck in a situation, right? How you get out of those boxes is very simple. You flip the view inward, you develop inner peace, you define a different story, and you do not allow the outside world to define you. That's the difference. See, in the Bible, we are told that we are enslaved to the Egyptians. The Egyptians represents our unconscious, and we can be enslaved to it, by doing unconsciously what I just said. Look outside, let it affect you, and then sit in that state. Because that's how it works. Or be freed from that and remember that you have the power to define every moment. You have the power to decide what you're going to experience. You have a blank slate every single day. Every single day, you are given an absolute blank. But if you don't change your routine, if you don't realize that you have a blank slate every morning, if you don't look at everything with fresh eyes, then if you went to bed thinking about what happened the night before, you're going to get up in the night before. And you're going to perpetuate this state. So how do you get unstuck from these states? You get unstuck by realizing that you're defining these moments. You are totally defining these moments, that you have the power to define your experience and that you have a blank slate every day. This is a time to really be introspective. If you have a repetitive pattern in your life and you're really trying to find forgiveness, this is an opportunity for you to do that. This is an opportunity for you to seek the kingdom of God first and understand your power. Recently, I had a friend say, what do I do with all this racism going on? I'm seeing all this horrible racism. She said that. And I'm not seeing that. Why am I not seeing that? Well, if you remember initially when I first started talking about conscious mirrors, that was one of my wounds. I experienced racism. But what did I do? When I got encountered with it, the fifth, 6 millionth trigger, took me a while to catch that one, and my neighbor, I forgave that woman. I forgave her, and I understood that she was showing me something that had been going on since my childhood, and that's why it repeated in, every so often, every few years, it kept repeating. So once I healed that, now guess who is not seeing that in her life right now? You have the power to remove these things. So this is the opportunity to do that. I want to recommend a few things to you guys right now. Self-inquiry meditation. Very good practice to have. It seems kind of pointless. I'm just going to sit and observe my thoughts and try to figure out who I am. It seems pointless. I get it. But here's the thing. Your inner story is always creating your outer reality. And if you've unconsciously let it play and you don't know what's going on, then developing a practice of observing your thoughts so that you can redirect those thoughts is a good idea. Even if it seems like a pointless thing, a few minutes a day, doing self-inquiry, doing in the evening as well, will help you get into the habit of realizing what's going on. Anytime that you feel upset, anytime that you are not feeling good, anytime that you feel like crying, this is your heart doing you the biggest favor. This is your heart showing you, okay, your mind is now getting away from what you desire and your mind is on recording. And so you can allow yourself to feel upset, but if anything, I would use that moment to realize and pay attention to my thoughts, because what kind of thoughts are going on that are going opposite direction of my heart? Therefore, I control whether or not I'm going to suffer. These are the moments when you have to realize that your inside, your inner story and your inner recording is in control. And so if you get in the habit of observing your thoughts, of realizing what's taking you away, you do not have to suffer. And a lot of us don't realize that we have this kind of power. So a lot of us will sit there and write, oh my God, 5G is going to kill everybody in the world. Did you as God really, really do that to your universe? Like, very counterproductive. Because the illusion is you, and you just did that to all of your bodies at once. And you had the nerve to write that down? Really? That's not being awake. That's serving the illusion, getting stuck in the illusion and condemning everyone in our world to that illusion. The truth is, you are a figment of your imagination. Therefore, you cannot be hurt. You cannot get sick. You cannot be hurt ever. You are literally allowing the movie occurring in time and space to affect you. Instead of realizing that you're the director, you're playing every single role, and that you have the power to define what is going to happen to your universe. So why in the hell would anyone participate in the illusion and talk about how weak they are? Think about these things. Your inner story is controlling. What you write down is controlling. So, another example, because she happens to be watching, constantly writes about how lonely and upset she is. How lonely it is. Okay, you just cemented over and over again how lonely you are going to be. That's the power of your word. Does that make sense to do over and over again? Does it make sense to condemn the universe when you all are all equally God and have the power to create these moments differently? Do you want to be enslaved in the Egyptians, or are you free? Are you in your exodus? Whether we know it or not, and I know a lot of people don't like the Bible because they don't understand it, we are living the word. Literally. So, are you in your exodus? Or are you enslaved to the Egyptians? You choose. You will see a new world if you renew your mind. You will see a new world. Right now, outside, I have sunshine. I have families walking their dogs. I have a beautiful dinner being made. I'm enjoying my time with someone who somehow his PTO got messed up and he doesn't have to work from home. So I get to enjoy my time with my other half. Everything is working in my favor. Have I turned on the TV? No thanks. Am I using common sense? Yes. So I want to give you guys a few things that will help you right now. If you are smokers, okay? If you are smokers, you are prone to have more mucus in your body, okay? So you are naturally weakened. What I want to recommend for you all to do is please drink warm liquids, coffee, tea on a regular basis. I'm saying this because my brother is a smoker. He needs these hot liquids, at least once in the morning, at least once in the evening. Please take the time to gargle with salt water or antiseptics. Okay? These are just precautionary measures because we are easily influenced. Until we control our mind, we are easily influenced by the media, and we can easily be influenced by fear. So take the time to do it. I highly recommend, if you have time to breathe, try Wim Hof, try tantric breathing. Personally, I use that time to enjoy my desires and see them fulfilled. Therefore, they come to me during my breath retention. So I take the time that I am breathing in and out as the time to allow my desires to be in front of me. I envision them being purified. And when I'm holding my breath, I put my hand to my heart and I enjoy the feeling of them being given to me without a single effort. I just sit in gratitude. Sometimes I almost forget to breathe and I've gotten like 3.5 minutes before I remembered I better start breathing. But that's okay. It is those moments when I am least resistant and completely at peace that these things just start coming to me. The blessings start coming to me. So I just want to remind you guys of these things, okay? If you can, if you have a yard, if you have sunshine, get at least 20 minutes of sunshine. In North Carolina, we've had a lot of rain and cloudy weather, and it just became sunny again. So go out there and spend at least 20 minutes, no sunblock, and just sit in the sun. Vitamin D is crucial to our bodies right now. You want to use everything that your body uses to help you, okay? I make vitamin C faux lemonade. It is a powder I got from Trader Joe's. It's very tart. I mix it with a little stevia and ice and basically make myself a glass of faux lemonade daily. It's great. It tastes good. If you have that, do that, you know? But just remember that you, at the end of the day, your body is made to survive. Your body will serve you. This is the time to heal. This is the time to mind your inner stories. Your inner stories are creating your outer world. They literally are. So just bringing it all back home. Remember that you have the power to define things. Do not work against yourself right now. You don't have to participate in the chaos. You guys are meant to be the light. You guys are meant to be the light in the darkness. We were made for this exact moment in history. That is why we are here. So while everyone is panicking, you will notice that if you remain in peace, people slowly come back to peace with you because you are the source. So get to know that power in you. Take advantage of the healing. And if you're still holding on to resentment, that would be why this coronavirus is kind of out there. It doesn't belong inside of you, and it cannot go with you to the new earth. Earth is already healing. She's already raising in vibration. And those of us that are going with her are perfectly at peace. Those of us that are not, I do not want you to view it as a negative. They are simply returning to the source, and they will be back. Bless these people on their journey. They're stepping from one reality to the next. They just woke up. They're no longer participating in the chaos, and they decided to move on up. And I told you guys how to view those that have passed on. They are inside of you, and they are being mirrored out everywhere, so you are never alone. They have never left you, because it is impossible. We are always one with creation at all times, living what we perceive to be living or not. So again, you guys, just remember these things. We're being asked to heal. We're being asked to forgive those things. We're being asked and tested in these moments. We're being asked to enjoy our families. We're being asked to appreciate these people in our lives that mean a lot, you know? And as far as the rest, we've been through worse. Many of us have. We've been through worse. We've had less. We're going to be fine now. Many of us don't even realize this, but there are dozens and hundreds of companies that are working, that want you to work from home right now. Many of you wanted to work from home in the first place. So if this is what's causing it, appreciate it, take advantage, and keep moving. There's always a choice. There's always a choice on how you view things. But how you view things right now is what's going to get you through. So I want to remind you guys of this. I know I kind of went all over the place. I didn't plan this talk at all. But I want you guys to kind of take this all in and take these moments to really think about these things, because the truth is right now, this is the perfect time to heal. So if you have any lasting resentments, try to look at it that way. Try to understand. Some of us inherited some stuff from before our childhood. Okay. Then precisely, darling, this is the time to heal it. You know? And when we look at everybody with that kind of innocence, and we give everybody, when we look at them as they are, God incarnate, it changes everything. It changes everything, because then whether we speak to them or not, we have elevated ourselves to a level where we need to be, and they will either catch up or they will join us, and we rise together. But we have that kind of power. This is not the time to be angry. This is not the time to be resentful. This is not the time to go back. If anything, this is only the time for our wounds to be healed. This is a time for us to wake up and realize that our inner stories and what we write down will be what we see outside. So it's a reminder that you guys have this power. All of us have this power, whether we're conscious of it or not. So if I have to stand here and say, hey, this is how it works, and remind you of your own power, that's great. You guys serve as an example of that. But what's most important right now is how you are choosing to define these moments, because these blank slates are what you will enter to the next day and the next day and the next day. I want to encourage you guys to limit what you're watching, maybe like an hour or two, just to kind of stay in the know if you have to. Don't let it overtake you. Don't get consumed in the fear. This is not the time for you guys to imagine that you're sick. Do get your sunshine. Do take a little time to be introspective. We're being asked to do it anyway. It's a good time. And as far as resentments go, let's let them go. Because these messengers served us. No matter how painful it appeared to be, these messengers served us. These are the things that we're being asked to purify so that we can go, because these wounds cannot go with us. They cannot. We have entered a dimension in which everything we want happens like that. No resistance. We are entering that dimension. So many of us are already here. And if that is the case, if you bring your wounds, you're going to suffer even more, faster, harder. It doesn't make sense. Therefore, it cannot go with us. This is our time to heal. So I want to invite you all to do that. I want to invite you all to change your perspective. I want to invite you all to really enjoy this time with your family and not worry. At the end of the day, we come out the other side. We always have. Not the first time this has happened. It's really not. We've survived, Spanish plagues, bubonic plagues, influenza, all kinds of, whatever. This happens every so often. And we've always survived. We cannot die. Our immortal self cannot die. Our immortal self is immune so long as it's not fearful. So stay in this place. Stay in this place of peace. Let your peace determine what happens next. And if you have people that you have not forgiven, it's a good time to do it. You don't even have to contact them. You don't have to. If it's not okay right now, it's okay. But let them go. And understand that they actually served you, even when it felt like harm. That's how we break the cycle. That's how we stop repeating things over and over again. This is how you get out of these 3D boxes. Remember this. And again, remember, your 3D is only for you to view inward, not outward. 98% of the population does that. And that's how they get stuck in the 3D box. That's what God said when he said, don't eat that apple. That's what it meant. As soon as you judge something, you always get to be right. That's the beauty of our free will. So you descend into an illusion in which you get to experience what you've declared. That's how it works. So if you allow that outside influence to determine how you feel, congratulations, you just dropped into that vibe. And when it doesn't feel good, that's your heart letting you know you just judged incorrectly. You are stepping away from the truth and you're dropping into the illusion. We are in a heart-based reality right now, and your heart is your best friend. Your heart will guide you. Every time you feel bad, that is a call to mind your inner story. Because in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word is God. And that Word is inside of you, and you all are letting it form your reality. Just a reminder, you guys. This is how we stay vigilant, and this is how we don't fall asleep in the midst of chaos. And if we live by example, we teach others by example. And we stop upholding illusions that cause us suffering. And I say cause us. All of us. Because when we sit there and we write about nonsense like 5G, or we sit there and we write about things that, how we can't forgive, or we sit there and write about our misery, then we descend, all of us. So be aware of what you're writing. Be aware of what you're saying. Be aware of how you're choosing to define moments. Serve your universe. Remember who you are. Remember that you are God. Remember that you were born for this exact moment in time. And remember to love your neighbor as you love yourself. No matter what happens. Love you guys. Bye-bye.